Hello, hello. Good evening. How's everyone? What's happening? I'll try and make a bit more progress on these Intercessors, right? Autofocus. There you go. Hey guys, how is everyone tonight? Be going with a bit of Michael and Flesh Shade. I'm doing the yellow on these guys' helmets. But I mean, I'm not painting the yellow. I'm painting the wash on top of the yellow. That's more accurate. Hope everyone's had a nice weekend so far. I can see one stray hair on this brush. Actually, there's two. Went and dropped this brush earlier. How annoying. I'm just gonna bite that hair off. Don't care about it. Greetings, Anthony. Alright, we bit it off. That'll work. Could cut it off. I might have a pair of scissors in here, I'm not sure. Probably would be better to cut it off, but... It's annoying when that happens. I had the brush painted on my balance on my desk and I dropped it. And of course, there's one bristle that's decided to go all skew with. Frank, good evening. David, how you doing? Currently painting up a new sergeant for a tactical squad. Said, I'm painting in cursors today. Hey Exo, hey Dark, hey Pana, hey Lunda, hello everybody. How are you? Good evening. Good evening. It's been a long time since I did yellow helmets. Joshua, thank you so much for subscribing. How are you? So, probably what will happen is we'll do this, and then I feel like 100% I'm going to have to come back to it with the yellow and neaten it all up. Which is fine. I neatened up the red this morning. It's when I wash them like this, you always end up with the wash running in places you don't want it to run to, so... I'm just going to be happy. This is going to be the first squad of the year that I've finished, actually. There was, I would have maybe finished the squad last year, but if it obviously got hit with my broken arm and got slowed down, I guess. I was gonna say, I actually don't know how I'm just gonna do a line of wash above the eyes. Just might add a bit of a break between the eyes and the helmet. Goodness sakes, it feels like forever since I painted yellow helmets. I painted them on my assault intercessors. I think that was the last time I had to paint yellow helmets. There's not that many lines on these helmets either. Hey, Nick. Yeah, I mean, the beakies, on paper, they're cool, but I actually don't know how the highlighting is going to work on these. I'm not entirely sure how you highlight the beak. I mean, I've done it before. Maybe there just won't be very much highlighting on the beak. The problem I find with yellow is you end up doing a lot of coats to get the yellow consistent. I mean, I use Averland Sunset, which I actually think is kind of a horrible colour in terms of like how many. I'm sure there's a better off-brand yellow that I should probably be using. Averland Sunset definitely is a yellow that doesn't give good coverage on like one or two coats. Robert's finished number Brutalis. I haven't even opened my box with the Brutalis in it yet, Robert. I don't know when I'm going to run the Brutalis, honestly. I think Arcs of Omen might be a good season to run it though, right? Because like the free strategic reserves. But I think like if you don't have those free strategic reserves, I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna. I mean, before we got the free strategic reserves, like no one was reserving Redemptors, right? It's too many CP. Or at least I feel like I don't know anyone that was reserving Redemptors. I don't think I would even consider it. I think it would have been about I think they're over power level 9. Maybe they're like power level 10? Or maybe they're 9, but still, it's a lot. I don't know if I would reserve a Redemptor Dreadnought. I don't know anyone that was doing that either, so it's like the Brutalis to me is gonna. Although I bought it and I did the video on it, I'm not entirely sure when would be a good time to run a Brutalis Dreadnought. It's a tough one. You're gonna use it from Deep Strike with the Chaplain Aura? I mean, that's probably the best way to do it, right? Like try and add some reliability to its Deep Strike. I feel like that's the best way to do it. Whether or not that's a good tactic, I guess you'll have to let me know. I guess the ability for it to sweep kind of opens up a new dimension that we didn't have before, right? Because before, if you wanted to hit multiple targets or multiple low wound targets, I mean, you could do it. This wasn't a very good option. I guess now it's a decent option. I saw Mike post a photo of his finished made Brutalis, and it did look pretty cool. I wonder if we'll actually see anyone that runs like 3 Brutalises and 3 Redemptors. I wonder if that's if that actually, like, if that has any merit or any weight. I thought that sounded pretty fun, but I don't know if that has any merit to it. I was going to say, while I'm washing these guys' helmets, I could probably wash any of the gold that's on these models as well. There's not a whole heap of gold on the Incursors. Like this one has a little gold thing here. Give it a quick wash with the Flesh Shade. Maybe I've got like this little gold emblem on the chest. A tiny little bit of gold on their knife belt. But I think that's all the gold these models have. Oh, let me mute my phone. or notifications are gonna piss me off. Hello, Flowbrain. Good evening, Mike. How you doing? That is indeed Mike Chili. You can follow Mike over on Twitch as well. He's pretty regular at streaming. It's just Twitch Mike Chili, right? But yeah, when I was looking back at it, where it's like it's the third month of the year and I haven't finished a single squad, I was like, as much as I want to make some new models, I was like, I better finish a squad, because otherwise it's getting silly. It's getting far too deep into the year and I haven't finished a squad yet. So I thought to myself, I'll just bash out these Intercessors. They're probably only like a few hours from being finished now. Good evening, Nathan. How you doing? So did anyone go ahead and buy the new Dark Angels box today with Fashtor? I saw that was out for pre-order. It seems like it was better value, that box, honestly, than the Strike 4 Augustus box, right? It just seemed like you got quite a bit more. It was like maybe $8 more expensive here in the UK, right? Like I think it was 104, where the Strike Force Augustus box was like 94. So it was a tiny bit more expensive, but it did seem like you got a lot more in the box. I wonder if Dante, like if we do get a new Dante, if he's going to be in some limited edition Fear of Missing Out box like Azrael is. Because I think at the moment, the only way you'd be able to buy Azrael is that Fear of Missing Out box, right? I kind of hate those Fear of Missing Out boxes. And I buy a lot of Warhammer, and I buy stuff that I don't even need. Like, I guess I bought like Strike Force Augustus, even though I'm not entirely sure what I need or when I'm playing it, right? Because like, I'm unconvinced on the rocket troops. And while I do like the damage output of the Dreadnought, the Brutalis, I think realistically it's going to be a very hard model for Blood Angels to field, because like there's so many other good choices in elite slots that you're going to have to like waver or ignore some of them to field a Brutalis, which I think makes it quite hard to field. Valrak said something about a new Blood Angels box recently. 3 Redemptors, 3 Brutalis would be great for Black Templars. I did actually think that might be a fun list for for Black Templars lag. If nothing else, like it just sounds like a crazy amount of -1 damage, toughness 7, transhuman dreadnoughts, I guess, or mini transhuman I've run 3 Redemptors for Black Templars before, and I mean I did lose, I think, twice when I ran it, but I do think it's pretty fun, and it's I mean I think I'm not an experienced Black Templars player, so I'm sure there was some better synergies that I didn't know about. If Fashtor is a precursor to Dark Mechanicum, I have heard about Dark Mechanicum. That is a rumour that's been floating around, right? At this point, though, what rumour has not been floating around? Because there's been so many. You know, there's rumours of we're going back to indices. What other rumours have we heard recently? The Lion, obviously. Primaris Dante. There's been a lot of rumours recently, I think. Evening, Sang, how you doing? Right before your stream, he said it on his live stream. Fair enough. Valrak's been pretty on point with the rumours recently. Like, he's got somebody that's feeding him a lot of, like, really good information, it feels like. Because he's been right on a lot of rumours, so... That's why I haven't really been doing rumour videos, because I don't know any of the inside scoop. Whereas Valrak obviously does. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to speak to Games Workshop and them talk to me about Primaris Dante and release, announce it or something on the channel. I don't know, I would love to do that, but alright, that is all 5 heads washed. I'm going to do something else while that wash dries. And I think what I'll do is I will paint an Infernal Pistol. And I'll maybe paint... I've got these 2 Death Company guys here. So I've got 1 Infernal Pistol that needs painted, and I've got some random bits on this other guy. I need Mephiston Red. Now I have a Jump Librarian, I'll be taking the Brutalis along, with Psychic Fortress maybe? When is Adapticon? I don't follow all the big American events all that much, to be honest. I mean, I don't, it's not really possible for me to attend them, so I guess I don't keep up with them 100% on when they are and stuff. So it feels like I've been painting Sangre Guard forever, but we're now... I was painting heaps of them with like magnetized arms and stuff. Oh look, this guy has a magnetized arm. Cool. Maybe I'll just take it off to paint it then. So yeah, I was painting tons of Sangre Guard, and I was magnetizing them all. And then Arts of Omen came out, and I guess the idea was to run as many with Infernal Pistols as you can. So now we're back painting the other arms, like, because I obviously painted them with their bolter arms, so now we're back painting Infernal Pistol arms. What's the loadout in the new Sangre Guard? I mean, there isn't any yet. I don't know if they will do Primaris Sangre Guard. I mean, they might. The thing that I'm hoping the most of, or the one that I heard that I like the most of, is the rumour that they're going to get rid of the Primaris keyword. And it's just going to be Marines or Marines, Firstborn or Primaris. You can field whatever the hell you like, they're both good. That's the rumour that I like the sound of the most. People can keep their old collections, but the new models obviously... I mean, people are buying the new models. I don't think they need to worry about that. Like, people buy Incursors, people buy Infiltrators, people buy Blade Guard veterans. Like, I'm sure they sell the new models just fine. Why not just keep selling the old ones and get rid of the Primaris keyword? That's my dream. Blade Guard veterans in our drop pod or a Rhino or something like that, you know? Blade Guard and a Terrax would be cool. Yeah, they would be, wouldn't it? It just opens up a ton of combinations. I don't think it unbalances anything. I mean, the only thing it could potentially unbalance would be like... I can understand them still having a limit on the number of wounds a Dreadnought could go into, like a Storm Raven or something like that. So you can't put like a giant Leviathan-sized, Redemptor-sized Dreadnought inside the Storm Raven. I get that. I'm okay with that. I think that makes sense, right? Okay, cool. I really didn't realise this guy's arm was magnetised. Makes things a little bit easier. I've been told the only reason Primaris, Dante and Sangre Guard aren't released is because they don't want to reveal the new jetpacks they have until the rocket troops came out. Spread the hype. What, because people hate the rocket troops so much they were worried that people wouldn't people were worried that, like, people wouldn't buy the rocket troops because they knew they were going to get jet troops? I don't know. Hype is good though, let's spread the hype. I'd like to get a Primaris captain on a bike as well. You know, we've got so many Primaris captains and lieutenants now. Can't we get one of them on a bike? We get the chaplain on a bike. Why do captains get discriminated against? Why aren't they not allowed bikes? You know what, when their arm pops off like that and you've magnetised it, isn't a great feeling when you just think, wow, it's going to be so much easier to paint these bits. Cool. I like magnets. So I usually spray the Sangre Guard gold, so I'm just going to put Dawnstone over the areas where I'm going to paint italics. Primaris hover bikes. I mean, the squat's got pretty cool bikes, right? In fact, I mean, those squat bikes, the fact that they fly is huge, I think. Outriders should have been on grav bikes. Yeah, I mean, it possibly would have made sense, right? I actually think the Outrider models are kind of cool. Like, the actual aesthetic of them and stuff is... Their bikes are quite chunky. I think they're actually a very cool kit, even though they're not like grav bikes or whatever. I just think that the rules really let the Outriders down for me. And I definitely try to make them work at a couple of events and tournaments. Like, I ran them a few times, but yeah, I wasn't a fan. Really wasn't a fan. They always underperformed. Their shooting is meh. Their combat is also kind of meh, which means, you know, then you're talking about, like, well, if their combat's meh and their shooting's meh, is their survivability good? I was like, I mean, it's nothing special, right? Also, there's no flexibility in the squad, and we get that. We get that. Oh, the camera froze? Thanks. What's happened here? Maybe my phone crashed. I don't get the squads that have no flexibility. I don't get the point of them, I guess. Oh, maybe the cable came out. Only hands. Indeed. The only hand stream tonight. Gonna say, pulling off his arm makes that part of painting a million times easier, I guess. Sometimes when you spray these guys gold, though, I find that the gold coverage isn't always the best. I'm gonna have to do a bit of a paint over some of the gold here, actually, because coverage just isn't very good at all. I also normally don't put the basing materials on quite so early in the paint process, but I wanted to run these guys to a tournament that required your models to be based, so I guess what that meant was I based them a bit earlier than normal. I also like the Outrider models. It's a shame they can't get any special weapons. Yeah, and I mean, it's a real shame that they only go in squads of 3 as well. Like, what's that all about? I mean, I guess it's because they have very big bases, and maybe the squad of 6 would be, like, quite tricky to maneuver, but maybe they could have been in squads of, like, 3 to 5, right? I don't... like, a 3-man squad with no additional options just doesn't feel very flexible, I guess. I don't know, like, if they're doing this new indexes in 10th, I don't know if they are going to be sometimes it feels like when there's a new index or a new codex like that, some things get a good update, but then sometimes things are just completely ignored and sort of left the way they are. And if I think back, the thing to me that stands out that was just sort of left, I think, was like I would say like possibly like suppressors and aggressors and stuff. They were just totally left how they are. And some people like suppressors, I get it. I kind of always felt they're a bit rubbish. And I felt like if there was one unit that was going to get like that needed to be looked at between editions, it was the suppressors, and the suppressors never really got anything, I guess. I just realised this is actually a hand holding an infernal pistol, even though this was on a Sangre Guard. So this is basically like a converted Sangre Guard pistol, because Sangre Guard usually have the mounted ones like this guy has. Oh cool, he's magnetized as well, nice. Alright, we got lots of magnets. It's hard to remember who got what pieces got magnetized and what didn't. Alison says my local club does a 1,000 point event, and I'd love to see how you do a 1,000 point list. You know there is a video. I've done 2 videos on 1,000 points lists, right? I did one at the. I mean, if you just search Blood Angels Commander 1,000 points, they'll come up. I guess there isn't one yet for the current season, but there is 2 videos up. I have done 1,000 point videos before, Alison, so if you went and watched them and then asked a question in the comments like what would you change out now, I could totally answer it. That would be quicker than me making another video. I don't know if I plan, like I do 1,000 point videos like every little while or so, I guess. But I don't know if I plan to do 1,000 point video for the Arcs of Omen season. It wasn't the top of my priority list. So maybe your best bet would be to watch the video that's there for last season and then ask a question in the comments, or I do try and reply to most comments. I do keep thinking, like, at this point now that it's like 12,000 subscribers, there is going to be a point where I get to where I'm not going to have time to reply to all the comments, because sometimes there is a shitload of comments. But I've been managing. I've been keeping up just about keeping up on all the comments. Suppressors never got their own box release. Is there even a way to buy suppressors at the moment? Is it like, are they in that like start collecting Vanguard Space Marine kit that like, I was gonna say that barely anybody buys, because I feel like if you've got money there's definitely better things to buy than start collecting Vanguard Marines. Might use some gold contrast. Sorry, not gold contrast. I might use some Blood Angels contrast on this guy's helmet, actually. I'm gonna find some shatty bone. Yeah, I mean, if you search Blood Angels Commander 1000 points, you'll 100% find them. Do you think Blood Angels get a buff in 10th edition? I think some things might change, like just a flat out buff. I don't expect to see like an army-wide buff. I mean, I'd probably like to see an army-wide, maybe a change to something. But based on what's happened in 9th and 10th, it doesn't seem like that's something that Games Workshop really like to pursue all that much, because the chapter tactics for Marine factions, there's a lot of chapters, like ours isn't great, but there's chapters that have it much worse than ours, and it doesn't feel like they really address those very often, I guess I would say. Like, apparently Imperial Fists in competitive play at the moment have a 25% win rate. You know, if they talk about like trying to get armies into that sort of like 45 to 55% win rate, Imperial Fists are like, they're not even on the same planet. They're just like, they've just been abandoned, completely abandoned. They've been left behind in the Great Crusade. They're like, no, it's not even worth saving the Imperial Fists, just leave them. To quote Star Trek, they're dead, Jim. They're dead. I don't know why. But I mean, it does seem to me like if they're that far behind, then their chapter tactics should be up for a bill. You know, it should be willing to be debated or changed to get them back, but I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's something the Games Workshop really want to touch or change, or however you want to look at the chapter tactics. I'm surprised they didn't do a box of suppressors in the Dark Angels box. Yeah, what did you get in that Dark Angels box anyway? It was like a squad of Terminators, and was it just a squad of like Intercessors? Because like I actually kind of half fancied buying that Dark Angels box, but I was like, if it's got Intercessors in it, like at this point, who actually needs Intercessors? Does anyone that collects Space Marines not have like a shitload of Intercessors lying around? Like I have like probably, like I got 10 Assault Intercessors painted, I think I got like 20, maybe 25 regular ones painted, and then I probably got like 20, 25 on sprue that, like, at this point they're just there for maybe some random conversion, right? I don't even know why I would have so many, but I have them. I actually shade all my gold with Reichland Flesh Shade. Mike, I like how it looks. I think back in the day it would have been Red Wash, I think it was called, before they changed all the names of the paints and stuff. So I would have painted them gold and then used Red Wash on them, and you know how much I need my models to match. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people use the Violet Wash on over Retributor armor. I also know some people use the Violet Wash. Some people use. I think some people actually just use Agrax Earthshade. Yeah, the Intercessors. I don't know why you would need more Intercessors. Ospec said we're in the 45% level. Yeah, no, Games Workshop posted. They posted a MetaWatch article this week, I think, maybe like Wednesday or Thursday, and we are bang on 45%. We're literally the bottom. There's only 2 armies that are lower than us. And what is frustrating is that they don't seem to care about the armies that are on 45%. They just go like, they look at armies out with that magical. So if we were on 44%, they would look at us for a buff, right? Even though like we play against armies that are on 55%, they don't care as long as you're in that magical number band or whatever you want to call it. So by being if we were 1% lower, then they would be looking at us and going like, right, we have to buff them. So it makes no sense, right? Because like, they just need, in my opinion, as it goes forward, they need to make that zone of models smaller. Like it needs to be 48 to 52. That's what it needs to be. And if they can't achieve that, then I feel like they need to. Like it's a competitive game. I feel like they need to just like. I think they just need to achieve that. Like, I don't think it's like a case of like, oh, it's too difficult to balance, we can't get it. I was like, no, I think you just need to keep working on it. Just balance it. I guess we can probably all we'll all disagree on the nature of how finely balanced the game needs to be and stuff. I just think that 10% is too much. You've got an army that's got 55% win rate and you've got an army that's got 45% win rate. I think that's too much. I converted all mine into Crusader squads. You know what? That would be a good use of Intercessors, because I think at this point, like, if I bought... I mean, I don't primarily play Dark Angels or collect them, but I did think that the new box looked cool, and I wouldn't say I'm actively seeking another army, but, like, I don't mind collecting stuff. I don't mind building up my collection. I thought... there's also rumours, right, that we're going to get, like, that half codex, where it's, like, half the codex is going to be Blood Angels, half the codex was going to be Dark Angels. I don't know if that rumour's come and gone, because the rumours have come thick and fast, it feels like. But there was rumours of a new Angels of Death codex, so I was like, yeah, I mean, that would be cool. I wouldn't mind buying Azrael and the Death Watch and Deathwing, I guess. I mean, Deathwing are in a great position at the moment. They're like 59% win rate, which is batshit crazy. Yeah, just... I don't know why they put more Intercessors in that box. It makes no sense. No one still needs Intercessors, surely. I think we'll get buffed, says Pappy. Well, I mean, cross your fingers, dude. If we get buffed, I'm all for it. I just don't think we will. I mean, the buff that I would like to see is something to like it's not even a huge buff. It would just be like to stop our chapter tactic becoming nullified by certain armies. Because like other armies don't typically get their chapter tactic nullified, but we do. So I would just like to see some wording that would prevent our chapter tactic from being nullified by like smaller, less important rules. But who knows, right? My poor Ravens. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their win rate is, but I can't imagine it was. Can't imagine it was as bad as the 25% the Imperial Fists have, right? Because that is a bad win rate. That's like, oh my god, that's bad. I found playing Lamenters has courted poor performance. I mean, there's multiple ways. I suppose it depends on what successor traits you're taking for the Lamenters. I don't necessarily feel like Lamenters are any worse than I don't think Lamenters are any worse than Blood Angels. I mean, especially, I suppose you can just take the exact same traits, so why would you be any worse? Do you think? I think you're right in a sense. Like, I think it is difficult for them to balance Marines now that they're all in the same codex. So I think because everything's in the same codex, then the balance has to come from two things. This camera froze again? For fuck's sake. I bought new software for this camera. Don't know why it's doing that. Gonna be one of those nights where it's just gonna fuck with me. Yeah, so if the balance has to come from two things, one, it has to come from like the faction specific units, right? Where if a certain faction like Blood Angels are on a 45% win rate, then maybe a couple of their faction units could get a few points drops. I mean, it doesn't have to be much, right? Like, you just take one or 2 points off every Death Company, or 1 or 2 points off every Sangre Guard. You can change the faction win rate very quickly just by letting them have a couple extra models. Or you buff a relic or something, but they don't typically buff stuff like that. They might change a points cost, but anyway, so one of the things to deal with it would be the faction specific units. That's one way they could balance it. The other tool they've got, which is a very easy tool, is like the faction specific secondaries. And like, if we go back to Nephilim, there was a lot of faction specific secondaries. If they've picked a faction-specific secondary for Blood Angels, right, like a faction-specific secondary right now, Relentless Assault, is basically it's the same as Behind Enemy Lines. Some people say it's not the same. For most intensive purposes, it isn't the same, but it will score very similarly. Like when I took Behind Enemy Lines at the tournament that was just at, it was like 13 points. Maybe if I'd done... Well, it was 13 points in one game. No, it was 13 points on average across all the games that I took it in. So maybe that's like, I don't know what the average is for Relentless Assault, but I don't know if it's as high as 13. I think actually when we looked at tournament data like a while back, Relentless Assault usually scored around 10.5. So if you base it on that data, then Relentless Assault Behind Enemy Lines is basically the same secondary. So Blood Angels don't have a good third secondary option at the moment. So like if you've got an army that's got a 45% win rate and they don't have a good third secondary, you could just be like, right, well, let's just make them a good third secondary, or let's take one of the third secondaries that we had just in the last season, whatever it was called, Nephilim, and let's tweak it and give it back to them. So like it would be very easy for them to... I think it would be very easy for them if they wanted to bump up Blood Angels like a few percent. I think it would be very easy to do that. And I think it would also be pretty easy to bring Dark Angels. I mean, they said as much. They're gonna bring Dark Angels down. Dark Angels are at a 59% win rate at the moment. They're the highest out of everybody. How are they gonna bring Dark Angels? How do we think in chat? How are they gonna bring Dark Angels down? What are you gonna expect to see? They could either make some Dark Angels units more expensive, or they could tweak their secondary. I mean, part of the reason Dark Angels are so strong now is that they can stick in Devastator Doctor in the whole game as well. And that's one of the reasons, like, they just added the flexibility back to the Doctrines. I can't see them then taking that away one season later or half a season later. Because that's just like saying, yeah, we fucked up. We thought about this, we thought it'd be good. I don't know. But they did basically say that they're going to take Dark Angels down a step. They're going to have to, because they can't leave them at 59%, I guess, right? It's fair to say that the Redemptor's points increases specifically due to Black Templars. Yes, it was. I feel like when Redemptors went up in points, because they're higher points than they used to be even now with the Arcs of Omen season, because it used to be 180, I think. And it's 185 now with the free war gear. So they used to even be cheaper than they were now, and they went up in points, I think, after... I think it was the London... I want to say it was like the London GT, and one of the top placing players was Black Templars with 3 Redemptors and 2 Relic Contemptors. They should probably change Codex Warfare so you can't score 15 points in it in one turn. I'd probably agree with that. I think that's a bit silly. I mean, realistically, no one's scoring 15 points on it in one turn, but the fact you could probably like score 8 or even 10 in one turn is kind of stupid. That probably doesn't actually fix the problem with Codex Warfare. Like, the overall problem with it, in that, like, it's just too easy to score in Devastator, or the armies that can stay in Devastator. Because, like, if Codex Warfare, like, gave 2 points for killing a unit in Assault Doctrine, and Blood Angels could just be an Assault Doctrine from turn 1, then arguably it would be too easy for us as well. Deathwing Transhuman needs to apply to all Terminators and be point costed appropriately. Yeah, I mean, Inner Circle is a very good rule. I feel like they've had Inner Circle for the whole edition, though, so I don't know if they're gonna... I mean, maybe they'll make a change to Inner Circle where it's only, like... I don't know, I mean, if you think of Leviathan, the only reason I'm thinking they might change it is, like, remember... Tyranids Leviathan got changed a little bit, so it was like they changed it so you had to have like a certain keyword. Maybe it would have to be like you only get the Inner Circle rule, like you only get the 4-up transhuman if you're in range of a warlord or something like that, or a character, and if you're not in range of a character then it's only like a mini transhuman. I don't know, who knows. I'm not the balancer, but they'll have to fix Dark Angels. And if history has told us anything about them fixing it, they usually don't do enough. They usually are doing these like minor tweaks, and then what happens is you know, everybody that was running Inner Circle will just move to like Ravenwing, and then there'll be a new build that's basically still gonna have the same problem. so I don't know what to tell you. We should be expecting the data slate in like 2 or 3 weeks' time, I would guess. If it's halfway through this season. Because right now, I guess, would be about 10 weeks into the season. So yeah, 2 or 3 weeks, I think. They'll change it by making the shield terminators cost more. I mean, they might. I don't know what they'll do. But yeah, I generally think that they should be looking at all the armies at the top and the bottom of that spectrum, right? Not just like the outliers. They should be looking at armies on 55 or even 54. Jesus, what is up with the camera tonight? Why? I'm gonna try and connect it through Wi-Fi because it's connecting through the cable. That was the whole point. It was going to connect through the cable, and then it wasn't going to lag as much. Because when it's connected on my Wi-Fi, it lags. I'm trying to think if I've changed anything. I don't think I have. Let me see if I can connect it through Wi-Fi. I need my device IP. Okay. 192.168.1.155. Start. Alright, I don't know what the lag will be like on the Wi-Fi. Turn it off and on again. Right, we're connected through Wi-Fi now, so who knows? Maybe it'll be better. I mean, at least they're doing Meta Watch now. You know, like there was other editions, like there was editions of the game where if your codex came out and it stunk, because let's face it, there was years where people's codexes came out and they were just like a poor codex or an underperforming codex. You just had a shit codex for 3 years or something. So at least that's gone. We've got digital points now, which I think is a small step in the right direction. Maybe in the new year we can get towards digital codexes or digital rules for some of the balance. We'll see, I guess. It's maybe baby steps, right? Dirty Wizard, good evening, brother. How you doing? Thank you for the support as always, Dirty Wizard. I saw a few guys had used the Element Games links for new Strike Force, and Dirty Wizard was one of the people that was like shouting about that for me. So thank you so much for that, Dirty. And thank you for the gifted sub. Who got it? Marcus. I much prefer gifted subs, honestly, to donations, I think. I mean, it's cool seeing donations come in. Don't get me wrong, like, I love it when you know, be lying if I said that I didn't like getting donations, but I think gifted subs are a great feature. I'm so glad YouTube added it. Get more people involved in the community, I think, is much better. Right, I think the wash on those other guys' helmets will probably be dry now, so I'll bounce back to them for a little while. But I think they're going to be playing New Guard this week, and I think I'm just going to run my Rabuti list that I played to the tournament. I really enjoyed it. I think I kind of want to finish painting Rabuti Dreadnought, or my Rabuti conversion Dreadnought thing. I think I'm going to probably prioritize it lowest though, right? Like I'm going to finish... I was going to say I'm going to finish some Terminators. Going to maybe like try and finish like... I had like multiple squads of Incursors that were like in progress. Obviously they've got one squad here that I'm just about to finish. I might go and finish the other squad because I feel like Incursors always end up having value, right? Like even though like right now we think Infiltrators are really strong, I think that Incursors will probably come back with a vengeance, right? There'll definitely be a season where it's like you'll see Blood Angels running 3 squads of Incursors. I think that'll happen again for sure. So I think I'm gonna finish some Terminators, finish some Death Company, finish some Infernal Pistol Sangre Guard, and hope that maybe we'll still get to run 3 Infernal Pistols in a future season. I feel like that's probably unlikely, but I guess we can hope. So that's probably my plan. Incursors, Terminators, Infernal Pistol, Death Company, and Sangard, and then if I do all, well, I mean, I probably won't do all that before the season's out. So probably I won't get round to painting Guilliman, but then we probably won't be able to use Guilliman in the army list next season. That's probably what I see.
The _dirty_wizard donated £5 via Super Chat. Hello, Commander, and everyone. Hope everyone is doing well.
Jerry, thank you so much. I'm certainly doing well. I don't know what I know you're in the UK. The weather here has been nuts the last few days. It was like -5 overnight. My daughter's been having this thing with her toenails where like she's been getting a bit fungus growing in them because like I guess kids can get too hot in bed and stuff. So like last night it was like -5, so I was like telling her to take her like socks off, like to help with her toenail problem. She was like screaming at me, she's like, "Daddy, don't take my socks off, my feet will be cold." I was like, "Annabella, we have to take your socks off, I'm sorry. It's been freezing here in the UK." Jim coming in with gifted subs. Oh guys, you're gonna make my night tonight, thank you. Gifted subs and subs coming in, cool. I started just putting down like that I was just trying to get 5 new subscribers every month, and this month has been way more than 5, so thank you so much. I was going to say the bot's about to kick in and go. Sometimes that bot lags when the gifted subs and stuff come in. It'll blow up in a second, I'm sure. As soon as I think it's not gonna. There we go. I wanted to build and paint 500 points of another 3 factions so that I can introduce my friends via boarding actions and have a good start due to the Imperium subscription. That is cool, man, Nathan. What a cool idea, actually, bring in your friends by giving them a faction or painting a faction for them. I love that idea, Nathan, that's very cool. I'm hoping to play some boarding actions on the channel. I'll try, Jim, thank you. I'm definitely going to try and do boarding actions at some point over the summer, right? Like, I'm actually going to buy the terrain at the end of the month. YouTube pays me on the 25th of the month. So although you like super chat me today, I don't see it until the 25th. So on the 25th, I'm going to order the Boarding Actions terrain. I think it would be fun to play a few games of Boarding Actions. I think it'll be very different to what we normally do in. I would like to do a couple more video edited battle reps, and I think Boarding Actions is where I think that would make the most sense for starting that. So I'm going to try and do that in Boarding Actions. The Karskin bomb really only cares about auto wounding with mortals on 5s. If you're going to be converting 55 of your attacks to auto wounds plus mortals, you fish for 5s. I read, or I didn't read, sorry, I heard that they're nerfing the Karskin bomb. I think they need to because it's broken as all shit at the moment. I was going to say, last season I played against the guy who is the captain of Team Scotland. And he said that he went to an event and he had the Karskin from the 1 CP strat do 28 mortal wounds. People said like, oh, it doesn't always do lots of mortal wounds. I was like, yeah, but it did 28 mortal wounds for 1 CP. I think that's a bit broken. When we're playing on Wednesday night, this week on Wednesday night, how you guys know the answer to this question before I say it, right? But what Imperial Guard unit do you think that Andrew might have on his list that he didn't have before? Could it be Karskin? Including a Blood Angels tactical squad with all but 1 sprue. That's a cool day, man. They don't come up very often, I'm guessing, at car boot sales. I think he might only have 20 Karskin, Phoenix, but he'll have enough. Like, he'll have worked out that like it's enough to do stupid amounts of mortal wounds. I actually didn't watch, like, I generally don't watch the Plastic Crack Creds games on I think they play on Thursday nights these days, actually. So Thursday nights for me is I either film a Grots episode or I sort of finish my Friday video, or I do some streaming on Thursdays. So yeah, I don't typically watch the Plastic Crackheads games. I mean, sometimes I might catch them, but like it's not like a conscious decision to try and watch them or keep up with them. But yeah, I know he was going to run the Karskin against Colin, and he didn't. I haven't heard how it went, but I'm guessing it didn't go prettily. It needs to be once per battle. I just think it needs to be capped at 6 mortal wounds. All the strats that do that sort of like massive amounts of mortal wounds on procs need to be capped at 6, because every other codex has them capped at 6. The Karskin, for whatever reason, it's just badly worded, I think. So I know they basically said like they weren't going to fix it because, like, I guess they're not too worried about the balance in Arcs of Omen, but I think they are going to fix it. I've heard from like different groups, what do we call it, like Facebook chats and stuff with people that like they're going to fix it. Kind of feel they have to, it's just a bit silly. reserve the Reaper. Do you know what? I wish I'd played a few more games before that event with the Reaper, because I think I would have possibly reserved it in... I think I would have definitely reserved it against Miles, because I think against Miles it would have potentially been the most damaging unit that I had. Just because, like, it's basically in a wound his whole army is on 2s or 3s. And I might have wanted to, like, keep it in reserve until he deployed his D cannons. I was not expecting, to be fair, I mean, I've played Miles before and I know he's tricksy, but I was not expecting him to put all 6 D cannons into reserve. That really surprised me. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That surprised me big time, I guess. Man, I'm not happy with the paint. I'm not happy with this on this helmet. Just got the helmet angled, so it's just like a little bit obscured by his gun, and it's making it a nightmare to get the paint on there. But someone asked me about that, actually. I think it was War Thunder asked me earlier. He was like, do you prefer a Reaper to Ball Predators? And I think my answer is still no. I think I prefer the Ball Predator, but I think obviously the Reaper is cheaper. If you only have points for one, then I would go for a Reaper. If you've got points for 2, then I'd go for 2 Ball Predators. I mean, arguably I suppose you could say that 2 Reapers would be just as good as 2 Ball Predators. It's a lot of points. It's 300 points, and I think the points is what puts me off going for double Reaper, because Reapers are vulnerable, right? Like, they have no invulnerable save, and genuinely anything that expensive that has no invulnerable save just basically paints a giant target on its head and says like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm expensive, and I have no invulnerable save." Whereas I think a Ball Predator doesn't really do that. It just goes like, I'm 110 points. Yeah, I've got no invulnerable save, but hey, I'm only 110 points. So if you want to waste a whole round of shooting killing me, oh, that's only 100 points. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever budge on the elite, giving up an elite squad point for scouts. If they make scouts fast attack or something, I mean, why are scouts got to be elites, man? There's nothing elite about scouts. Literally nothing elite about them. I think Ball Predator's best attribute is their distraction. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ball Predators do a ton of damage, but I think for 110 points, you're right, I think they're a distraction that kind of need dealt with, because they have enough firepower where they can't really just be completely ignored, right? You know, you got 12 strength 6 shots coming out. And then like 6 2 damage strength 5. I mean, it's enough where it's like, I think it's just generally difficult to ignore them. My experience of the toughness 8 on the Reaper, though, doesn't make it feel any more survivable than a Bile Predator, honestly. Like, usually if people go on it with any sort of serious commitment with high AP weaponry, it'll just be dead, which is what happens to the Bile Predators as well, but you're paying 40 points more for the Reaper. I think in one of the games I was going to smoke screen it to try and keep it alive, but it turned out that they had like ignore all hit modifiers, so I didn't bother. Good evening, sellers. How you doing? The focus should be what they do for the points. In my opinion, Valves don't do enough. I'd rather rinse with a Reaper. So if you're not in rapid fire the range of the Reaper, you get 24 plus 8 plus 4 plus D3, which is 2. So it's like 24 plus 8 is 32. 32 plus 4, 36. So realistically, you do 40 damage. With the Bile Predator, you do like 24. Yeah, I mean, well, I ran the Reaper to a tournament. I mean, that's a win for you, Highland Phoenix, right? You've been asking me to run Reapers for forever. I can't help but feel that if I'd had the points for 2 Bile Predators, I would have probably rather running 2 Bile Predators. Because I mean, in one of the games, like, yeah, a good example actually. The game against the Space Wolf player, he just turn 1 dropped his drop pod with all his Devastators in it, and took my Reaper out before I ever got a chance to shoot it. Right. So like that's you know, you ain't gonna save anything on -5 from Space Wolf Devastators. Whereas, like, if he'd taken out a Bile Predator, it would have been less to lose. And I think that's all the only way I can look at it is the Reaper's fine, but it feels to me more like you're putting more eggs in one basket. Whereas if you had multiple Bile Predators, you're splitting out those eggs, but you're keeping the points cheap. And like Blood Angels, you want most of your points in elite units. You don't want it in fire support. You need some fire support. But if you're going to run a Whirlwind like I am, then what, you're going to run 2 Reapers, so you're like 425 points, and let's face it, Reapers don't do any damage into armor. So maybe you want some anti-armor firepower, so how are you doing that? And then, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the list that I ran, but if I had the points for Bile Predators, I would have preferred Bile Predators, I feel like. maybe they'll do a gladiator Baal. What about that? A Baal gladiator. I don't know what that would look like. Lucifer pattern engines is a waste. It's completely a waste. It's a completely redundant stratagem. No one's using Lucifer pattern engines. That's the one thing that I think is more important. You know, like someone was asking earlier, like, hey, do you think Blood Angels are going to get a buff in the new edition? I think the more important thing, honestly, the way we should be looking at it is they should look at all the shit that nobody uses. Like, no one right now uses Sangre Guard. Why? No one uses Lucifer pattern engines. Why? No one uses the flaming Baal Predator. I mean, maybe someone's using it now with Arts of Omen, but up until Arts of Omen, people weren't even trying Baal Predators, right? And I as sure as shit wasn't, because before Arts of Omen, a Gladiator Reaper was about 170 points, right? And you had to pay for Smokescreen, and you had to pay for the Stubber, and you had to pay for the rocket pods. I mean, so yeah, we shouldn't be, I don't think we should be hyper focused on like, hey, Blood Angels need a buff. We should be focused on like, do you think they'll do something with these things that are useless or underpowered? Good evening, Berg. That's your fault for not reserving a single tank, but I mean the point is the second the tank was on the board he was just going to counter it with the Devastators, right? I mean, that if you have a drop pod full of Devastators and the enemy has a Whirlwind, let's face it, he's Space Wolves, he doesn't need to kill the Whirlwind, he has like 3 fight last. He has more fight last than I have. So there's no reason for him to use the Devastators to kill the Whirlwind. Could try and use the Devastators to kill the Terrax. Yeah. But if he does bring in the Devastators, like, within half range of the Terrax, then arguably I would probably just want to Auspex scan with my Stern Guard. With the hope of killing a couple of Devastators. Hoping, like, fish for some 6s. I have enough shots with those Stern Guard, like it's 9 shots. I could roll a couple of 6s. So yeah, his only play I think in that game is to use the Devastators to kill the Gladiator Reaper, so it doesn't, having one of them start off the board doesn't help me at all. I feel like he'll just sit and bring in the Devastators whenever the Reaper's a viable target. Because, I mean, I wanted to use the Reaper to kill his Wolven and not have to engage him in combat, right? And he knew that. Stuart is a really cool Space Wolves player. And I've played Stuart at the last 2 events I've been at, and I've beaten him both times, but he's a good player, and the games were pretty close. So I've actually invited Stuart to come on the channel at some point with the Space Wolves, because we never get Space Wolves on the channel. I have another friend that plays Space Wolves, but he's kind of... I don't think he's not playing 40k at the moment, he's just a bit annoyed with the 9th edition rules, so it's been hard to get games as Space Wolves on the channel, so I invited Stuart on the channel after sort of meeting him at these last couple of events. I think he must have voted for me for Best Sportsman as well. So he's a totally sound guy, and at the end of the game he actually asked me, he was like, can I take Rabuti Gilliman with Space Wolves? I was like, yeah, you can run him with Space Wolves, he's Imperium. In his Space Wolf list was that list where he gets the double exploding 6s, it's like the Whirlwind of Rage. So his melee combat is like I'd say his melee combat's actually quite a bit better than Blood Angels at that point. So yeah, we had a great game. And hopefully the plan is to bring Stuart onto the channel at some point. Soon. Like, I'm playing Guard this week, but maybe it's like sometime in the next month or so. I actually don't know where he lives, so don't know if he's local or if he would have to drive a bit to come here. I heard there was a rumor Redemptor variant for 10th. Does it mean a dual plasma version? I mean, a dual plasma version doesn't solve the problems with the Redemptor's shitty reliability, right? I don't know if I would love a dual plasma Redemptor. I just want the plasma cannon to be like heavy 4 or heavy 5 or something reliable. It hurts the Redemptor a lot, I think, that it doesn't have a reliable main cannon. I mean, I suppose you could argue that the Onslaught cannon is a reliable main cannon, but that's a completely different... That's a Redemptor that's trying to kill infantry. And I don't really think Blood Angels are taking Redemptors to kill infantry. I mean, I know I'm not. Never looked at the Redemptor as an infantry killer. If I want to kill infantry, I'll just kill them with chainswords. We need a Redemptor with a shield dome. Yeah, I mean... Or possibly smokescreen, or possibly both. I don't know why Redemptors didn't get smokescreen. I don't think Redemptors would have been overpowered with smokescreen. It's certainly not in the current meta, where they don't even get a save against half the weaponry that's out there. Kane just finished up the plasma effect on an obliterator. I had sit in my pile of shame. I really hope fortifications get a revamp. I'd love the big plasmas to hit on more than 5s. Fortifications had a little bit of love in 9th edition, didn't they? Not much, but they had a little bit of love, I feel like. They overvalue the -1 damage. I mean, yes. In the current season, -1 damage for the Redemptors feels like it's not going to save it from anything. The way I look at Redemptors probably in the current edition is like, or even the Brutalis, like, if you were playing against somebody that had Eradicators, how would you get on? And I think the point is that, like, those heavy melter rifle Eradicators will basically just be able to come in and completely destroy one of your, like, 200-point models. It's a complete trade. Like, they will just mop them up. They probably actually mop it up with a bit of overkill. And you've just spent 200 points on a model that's basically achieved nothing. That's my daughter crying. I'll be back in a sec. Hey, sweetheart. It's okay. They also made heavy melter rifles, 4+4 damage on half range, right? So if you have any faction that can like ignore the -1 to hit on a heavy weapon, and there's like a lot of strats out there that can let you do that, I mean, I was gonna say, how many D6 plus 4 actually need to go through to kill a Redemptor Dreadnought? Like 2? They would average 7 damage. So yeah, so like, you bring in a squad of heavy melter rifle eradicators, you just need to wound twice. And on average, the Redemptor Dreadnought's left on 1 wound. Or the Brutalis, I mean, because the Brutalis has the exact same profile, right? That's pretty brutal. That's very brutal. I mean, basically, you're also saying that like a 100-point squad, or 100 and... You get a free multi-melta in that Eradicator squad now, so like a 135-point Eradicator squad, is that right? Because they're 45 a model. They're also killing like they're killing a Gladiator Reaper 100%. Because they're doing... Well, they just have to wound twice. So hit twice, wound twice, you're dead. On average. Maybe that's why I like the Battle Predator. After tonight's session, I'm pretty much just gonna have to wash metallics on these Intercessors, and I'm gonna be calling them done. I'm not 100% sure how I should have washed these helmets. I feel like I've got enough definition on them. In the next edition, the Hammerfell bunkers and turrets will reign supreme, so they can make some money on those models that no one used. I mean, Hammerfell bunkers are better than they've ever been, right? Like at 100 points, I could see myself using one, maybe? The Hammerfall just needs deep strike. Well, I mean, it needs a way to fall, right? Like, that's his name. It just needs to be able to do what his name is. Fall down somewhere in the battlefield. I never bought the Hammerfall bunker. Dirty Wizard. I mean, when it was 175 points, I guess that's the reason that I never bought it. I could be tempted to buy one now, I guess. I'm doing boarding actions trained through this month, so I can't buy it this month. Gotta do boarding actions trained. I noticed that in boarding actions, I don't know if you guys noticed this, Red Rampage in boarding actions is an awesome stratagem. Like, it's different to the Red Rampage that we get in 40k. If anyone noticed that Red Rampage is actually awesome in boarding actions. Sort of felt pretty sad about that. I was like, man, Red Rampage sounds so good in boarding actions. Why don't we have that for actual 40k? It's sad. And the Brutalis is complete, says Robert. Nice job, dude. Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Are you ready to do 2 more? I always have a problem with those Primaris legs. Oh, you're going to start another one on Monday? No. Good for you, man. I don't know if I had the motivation to do... I still have got my Death Company Redemptor to finish. He was really close, but I never quite finished him. I wasn't happy with the edge highlighting. I was supposed to go back and do it, but... I tried fielding 3 Redemptors after I bought them, and honestly I didn't like 3 Redemptors that much. They take up all... like, Redemptors have a giant footprint. Like, giant footprint. It's actually kind of hard to field 3 of them without getting in each other's way a little bit. Or at least that's how I felt when I was running 3 Redemptors. I still think you want a Leviathan to take the fire. I suppose it depends though, right? Like if you run Black Templars, I guess you don't need the Leviathan. Plus, if there's a good opponent, are they really going to shoot the Leviathan when they know that they can kill the Redemptors or the Brutalis because they don't have invulnerable saves? I gotta stop looking at these guys through the magnifying glass, because when you look at them through the magnifying glass, you always see imperfections. If I just look at them with the naked eye, I'll be happy. Or I should be happy. Maybe there's a tiny bit to fix on this one. Any idea which chapter would suit my Desolators? I won't use them in Blood Angels, but I don't want them sitting in a pile of shame. I mean, I was going to try and run a squad of them for Blood Angels. But what chapter would suit them? I mean, probably Dark Angels or Iron Hands, or... might be alright with Space Wolves as well. Imperial Fists. I mean, nothing suits Imperial Fists right now, unfortunately. It must have been tough to be an Imperial Fist player this edition. Like, that must have just been rough. I certainly feel like they've been underappreciated or underdeveloped, I think. Evening, Greg. How you doing? I need to find some green paint for these guys' eyes, I think. We're going with... we're going to do some root green. Oh, thanks. I assume you mean for the Best Sportsman Award. I don't know what else you would be saying. Well done. Imperial Fists have been fisted. Let's not sugarcoat it. Yeah, I mean, that seems accurate. Hammerfall was totally stupid not getting deep strike, says Highland Phoenix. The problem with it, Phoenix, and I could be wrong here, is it's got a pretty giant base, right? I don't know how you would be able to deep strike the Hammerfall bunker. Like, the reason that people don't take them, and I could be wrong about this as well, I think the reason people don't take them is because if you want to put it down on the map, you're going to have to remove some of the terrain in your deployment zone just to fit it in, right? Alright, I maybe got like 10-15 more minutes tonight, I think. I'm gonna end going to bed about midnight. I'm not gonna finish these I was gonna say maybe I shouldn't speak when I'm trying to paint the inside of the eyes. The last two were perfect and then this one's been a disaster, okay. Good night, Robert. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. was gonna say there's a few little things, there's a few little tweaks I want to make still to these Incursors though. Took out a Tesseract Vault with my Terex Jill drawing the flat 6 plus D3. Almost made my opponent cry. What was inside your Terex? Because I really enjoyed my Terex at this tournament just past. I think Stern Guard are a great squad to inside the Terex, by the way. They're nice and cheap, man. Combine them with the Meltas and stuff. Yeah, the things I want to do, yeah. I think I want to put... Well, I definitely know I need to wash the metallics, but I also think I want to put a little bit of extra paint on these backpacks. Like the scanner thing on the backpacks. The Seth, the Vanguard, and the Stern Guard, and a Chaplain. Wow, that's overkill. Okay. I thought... How you got your Stern Guard armed, actually? Yeah, I've got another squad of Incursors I'm going to take to my battle this week, because I don't want to be fingering these guys a lot before I finish them. So yeah, this squad of Incursors is like top of my priority list. I'm going to try and finish them before I do anything else. I think maybe like one more session might be the painting done. Yeah, like one more session will be the painting done, and then like, it's not even a full session, is it? After that, just be like some transfers, like an hour of transfers. And then get them varnished. It's hard to varnish in the UK in this weather though at the moment. Like, there's a very small window of opportunity for varnishing in the UK, I feel like. Unless you varnish them indoors maybe, but I always varnish outdoors. Stern Guard are really good, combi grabs and multi-meltas. I ran mine with combi plas and multi-meltas and I thought they were really good, yeah. The Terex plus the Stern Guard plus something to basically have the reroll charges up was really good actually. Really liked it. We'll run it again for sure. For 100 points it's our best buy. It is a good squad for 100 points. Did you put like a Power Fist or something on the Sergeant as well? Because obviously you get the free... I was going to say you get the free melee weapon. Some people went with Lightning Claw as the free melee weapon. I did consider that, but I ended up going with Power Fist myself. I think both would have been a good choice. Good evening, Tom. How you doing? You're just tuning in at the end of the night for me. When it gets to about 20 to midnight here, which it is just now, that's when my eyes start finding it very difficult to focus on miniatures. I'm really pleased with how this squad's turned out though. I think they're starting to look pretty gnarly. Not sure how well the camera is capturing the edge highlighting and recess washing, but I'm really pleased with how these guys look. I think once I get some transfers on them, I think this will be one of the best squads I've done in Red, actually. It's just that whole thing where if you keep practicing, you just get better. Look great, thanks Jim. I appreciate it. Someone said to me I should enter best painted at the tournament that was just passed. I was like, no, I'm not there. My army isn't even finished. I've entered best painted before when I've been to an event where everything was finished. I didn't win anything for it, but at least, you know, I entered it. I'll maybe enter best painted again once everything's finished, right? I'm not really expecting to win any best painted awards, but I'm getting there. Adley, good evening, how you doing? You're just catching me at the end. I'm off in 5 minutes. Oh, my back's actually hurting a bit tonight. Maybe I lean forward too much. Trying to get all the nooks and crannies. Yeah, so okay. These guys are, I'd say they're a session away from being finished. Oh, happy enough. Stephen, thank you so much, I appreciate it. We smashed the membership goal this month. It's so good. I really do appreciate you guys. Do you want I'm going to fix this shoulder pad and then I'm going to call it night. Alright, I'd hope to be a little bit further on those incursors, but that's fine. Next time. We're almost there. We're almost there. Would you not considering trading out Sangre Guard for Devastators? Would cost like 15 points more, but would get a Singing and Cherub and 4 heavy weapons. But you have to pay per multi-malta on the Devastators, right? Whereas like on the Sangre Guard you get the multi-maltas for free. I mean, that's why I was using Sangre Guard, because you get 2 free multi-maltas and then 3 free combi plasmas. And the combi plasmas, if you think about it like this, right? Like Dirty Wizard, a heavy plasma cannon, for example, right, is D3 shot, strength 8 -3, 2 damage. Well, if you're coming out of a Terrax and you're within half range with your plasmas, then you can rapid fire your plasmas. So each plasma is 2 shots anyway, which is arguably just the same as the heavy plasma cannon. However, you don't have to take -1 to hit because it's not a heavy weapon. So like, are you not in that case, are you not sort of getting the best of both worlds, where you've got 2 free multi-maltas and you've got 3 2-shot strength 8 -3 strength 8 -3 2 damage plasmas, So it's kind of like, if you think of a Stern Guard, or if you think of the 3 guys with plasmas, that's kind of like 1 Inceptor, right? Because it's like 6 shots, strength 8 minus 3, 2 damage. Only, however, if you roll a 1, you're only losing 1 guy. You're only losing a 20-point model if you roll a 1. So you're getting 6 strength 8, 2 damage plasmas. And then you're getting the 4 multi-melta shots. Obviously they're -1 to hit the multi-meltas. For 100 points I found, and then like I've got a free Power Fist on there as well. I mean, I guess you could argue because you get the Shurab, it might be better, but like I'm not really expecting them to survive, right? I'm expecting the Tarax to drop in, the Tech Marine and the squad jump out and shoot. I'm really not expecting them to survive. Because, I mean, if people have like, if they don't have enough firepower to kill the Tarax, right? Like, if they don't have a lot of like range that's within range of the Tarax, they're not going to shoot the Tarax. So they're going to shoot at the squad. They're just Marines, so I mean, they're toughness 4, 3 up save. They're gonna get mopped up pretty quick. So I think that's why I prefer Tarax with the Stern Guard. Or you'll probably find I always pick cheap. I always pick cheap units to. Maybe not always, but if there's an option to get something that's cheap, like that seems really good, then that's... Like, obviously I do know what a Devastator squad can do, but I don't think I expect them to survive. You could have the Tarax block the Marines, but yeah, I mean, I don't want the Tarax blocking the Marines. I want the Marines 9 inch. I want all 5 Marines within 12 inches of the enemy. 1 so the 3 plasmas can rapid fire, and then 2 because I want the multi-meltas to get +2 damage from half range. Stephen says the channel rocks. Happy to be back. Stephen, I'm so happy you are back. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please come over to the Discord and make sure you use your membership. Join our members only room. I appreciate you dropping by. Thank you. If for some reason, if for some miracle the Marines survive, they could jump back in the Tarax and get a ride across the board. But typically, people are going to shoot. I think people in my games, people shot at the Stern Guard, right? Like it's 2 multi-meltas and 3 combi plasmas. It's a good amount of firepower, and I mean it's much easier to mop those up than it is to mop up the Tarax. I mean, I guess you'll see on Wednesday night. I'll bring it on Wednesday night, and you can tell me. The other thing, I suppose, Dirty Wizard is, and this is the last question of the night because it's just coming up to midnight, so I'm going to go to bed. The other thing to remember is the Tarax does have 5 melta shots on it as well, and a heavy flamer, 2 heavy flamers, sorry. So you've got 5 melta on the Tarax, then you've got 4 melta from the Stern Guard, then you've got 3 rapid fire plasmas. Then you have 2 heavy flamers, and then you've got the Tech Marine who has a combi melta and a plasma and a flamer. And if you really need bolter shots, you could shoot all the combi weapons with bolter shots as well. And again, they would be rapid fire 12, so you get another 8 bolter shots out as well. I feel like 9 melta shots, 6 plasma shots, 3d6 flamer shots. Actually, it's not 6 plasma shots, 7 plasma shots because the Tech Marine's got one as well. Oh, and you're forgetting the Tech Marine's melta. Alright, so it's 10 melta shots, 7 plasma shots, 3d6 flamer shots, 2 of them are heavies, and then if you desperately need mortars, you can get about 10 bolter shots in there as well. In the case you could run 2 Stern Guard squads and a Razorback in place of a Brawl Predator, would you do it again? I think it's the Alpha Strike that you want. Like, I don't think running a Razorback across the board is particularly strong. I think it's the Alpha Strike from the Terrax that makes it strong. The Firstborn Tech Marine does get a bunch of free shit. It's pretty cool. I thought after last edition I would never have a use for my Firstborn Tech Marine again. I was wrong. It was like the 10 points that the Primaris Tech Marine usually have to pay just is so much better. But if you give the Firstborn Tech Marine all the free war gear, then it kind of averages all that out, doesn't it? Alright, tomorrow night, Army List show. It's going to be live about 9:30 UK time. Somewhere between 9:30 and 10 we'll be back. We'll probably do like 6 lists, might even do 8 lists. We'll see how we go. But yeah, Army List show tomorrow night, guys. Please tune in if you want to see it. Please like the stream before you head off for the night. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. And this week's tactics video is going to be Desolators versus the Vindicator Laser Destroyer. So that's coming up as well on the channel. So, alright, I'll catch you all in the next one, and I'll see some of you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Have a great Saturday night. Peace. Thanks for all the support tonight. We got a bunch of new members, super chats, gifted subs. I appreciate all of it. Thank you so much.